Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge After Show. Today, Jenna and I are talking about the Challenge Ride or Dies, episode 3, A Bumpy Ride. Was
Dan,
it
thank you.
bumpy and was it a ride? Apparently, according to this title, it was. Jenna, how are you?
I was about to be like, what's the episode name? Because
Yeah.
I never think to look at it. I never think about it until we go on the show and you say, welcome to episode X and fill in the blank of what number titled. I'm like, oh yeah, Dan's about to tell us what the title of the episode is because I never think about it that way. A bumpy ride. Sure, why
Sure.
not? I mean,
It
sure,
could
why
have
not is really just the answer.
it could have been called a number of things, including sure, why not? Like, yeah.
Right.
Uh it could have been called rookie, they need a cookie. Who the hell knows? I mean, because it was all I
It
don't know.
should have been called Messy Fessel.
That would have been good. Yeah. Oh, that's a great yes. Instead of messy,
That
fessy,
boy is
messy, Fessel. Yeah. Fessel. Yeah.
He
That'd been
is
great.
still so sloppy with the way he politics in this house.
I can't, dick being the key word there. I cannot believe that he's seeing 4 girls right now. I mean, the fact that I think he's seeing Michelle the most. I don't know if you want to put them in order of the most that he's seeing them, but I feel like Michelle's spending the nighttime cuddles where Laurel might just come in the morning for a morning chat cuddle. And the other two, he's just pursuing around the house.
I think that is definitely the case. I think Michelle is number one chick of the house to him right now. I'm confused about Laurel hopping in and out of his bed. I wonder what the extent of that is. Like you said, is it just like a morning cuddle conversation? Like, is it even really anything? Because this is also summer camp for these people. So, like, lying in bed with somebody isn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of thinking, does he think that something's brewing with Annalise and Colleen? You know, he says he's pursuing them, but I wonder if to them it means anything. They might just be being kind to him and talking with him
And
like
trying to
everybody.
politic themselves.
Right.
Um, don't you? What is the definition of a cuddle? Because the cuddles they showed with Laurel were her just lying next to him in bed. That's not a cuddle to me. That's just lying in bed next to somebody. A cuddle would have to have some type of contact. So I don't know how much these morning cuddles really, how extensive they get with Laurel.
Yeah, exactly. And cuddling in a way can be somewhat platonic. You know, like I put my head on the friend of my the shoulder of my male friend. You know, it doesn't mean like, oh, like now we're into each
Oh
other,
my
now he's
god.
pursuing me. This isn't high school, even though people are hooking up on the airplane. So
Yeah. Pamela is not joining us today, but if you want to see Pamela, you can check her out on our Patreon where we covered Bachelor in Paradise episodes 6 through 9. And yes, Pamela brought it up, but she made the joke that there was a 6 and a 9 in our title of our episode. So,
oh,
yes. And it's
is
all about hooking up that damn show. My God, do they just switching partners quicker than quicksand takes over someone's body. It's
yeah.
insane.
While we're here on Bachelor in Paradise, the topic, I'll give
Mm.
another extra teaser to your Patreon because obviously I'm not a part of it because I watched 2 episodes and I was like, I just can't do this. It's not for me. I don't have the time to try to make this for me because there's like 3 damn episodes a week, kind of like Big Brother. Has it gotten better?
So yeah, oh my God, this the whole idea that they made the women leave the house and they
Mm.
brought in new girls for the guys, and the other women weren't even around to stop it. But then the twist there is they bring in guys for the girls at the hotel that the other original dudes don't know about. So, and then they all come back in this latest episode 9. Shit hits the fan. It's actually gotten a lot better because episodes 1 through 5 were rough. Even Pamela and I, when we talked about 1 through 5 in our first chat on Patreon. But the link is right below. So if you want to hear more Big Brother stuff or Bachelor in Paradise stuff, it gets so good in these next 4 episodes. It's back, baby, as they
That's
say.
awesome. Yeah, that actually sounds really awesome, especially with the personalities of what I saw in like the first 3 episodes. Everybody was already so emotionally off the rails and like so invested to somebody they talked to for all of 10 minutes,
I'm telling you.
crying about them, thinking marriage was going to be the next step. So I can only imagine like they were so territorial. Now the house split up. That's good shit. But everybody's here for the challenge. So we should get
Yes.
into that.
Well, we had a lot of vignettes to start the show. It starts off with Jordan coming back, which we saw in the previous episode, and he is shown to be with his new best friend, or as TJ refers to them as frenemies, or someone referred to them as frenemies. I'm like, that's not a ride or die. Your frenemy is not your ride or die. This is the dumbest ride or die that they put together this season for damn sure. Because let's be honest, and if you know a little, here's a little backstory of how this all went down. Anissa's original ride or die was her bestie named James Simon. I believe James Simon got COVID, or he was no longer able to be on the show, and then they just brought Jordan in to be her new ride or die. They were not originally partners, so therefore they were not originally ride or dies. And a funny thing that someone wrote in the comments on episode 1 was in the edits of the boat, Anissa was actually on that boat with James Simon. They had to edit around that to show that Anissa and James Simon were not there together or were not there at all. So that's a really great behind the scenes that someone in our original comments of episode 1 put down. I'd love to give them credit, but please, if you were the person that did that comment again, like, hey, it was
Stand
me.
up.
Hello, yeah, raise your hand in class, please, so we know it was you. Thank you.
That's crazy. That went over my head. I had no idea Anissa was on that damn boat.
They edited around it. They had to do fancy editing tricks.
That's hilarious. I mean, you got to give it to production in a little bit. They have to work with what happens, and that is a really great creative way to work around it. They have this person on the boat. Their partner falls out of the competition for COVID, whatever it may be. How are they going to now integrate this person who's already in Argentina into the show? And I hear you. Listen, I hear you. I'm thinking the ride or die kinship between Jordan and Anissa is definitely weak and thin. However, I will take Jordan on a challenge show however I can get him. So give me him attached to Anissa as ride or dies for one season. They can be best friends for 10 minutes and pretend all I care. But I have said this before, I think I did, where it feels like people just they start to grow fond of one another after seasons of being together. So maybe they've never been the closest in the house, but they do know each other incredibly well. They do all of these pet press tours outside of the show. They film reunions. They go out together. They do Challenge Mania pop-ups. Like, I do not doubt that they are individuals who have become very close. And sometimes enemies become like the best of friends when they finally decide to bridge that gap. So even though Anissa, has kind of been rubbed the wrong way by Jordan his entire time in the challenge, you can't really find a lot of people who don't feel that way about him because he came in very arrogant and cocky. So I think the fact that they've been veterans now on for like 7+ seasons, they just kind of, that camaraderie does grow. And I do think that there is a true, genuine friendship there.
I feel like the underlying thing that everything you just said is great, but the underlying thing is we're just happy to have Jordan back in any way, shape, or form. So you're giving excuses for this friendship, but it works. And hey, everyone's gonna be like, thank you, Jenna, even though we all know deep down, like, ride or die is like such a heavy term to use for these two people, as far as I'm concerned. But yes.
But this has happened on other seasons, so I'm very
I know.
That, where on Exes, we have a CT and DM, people who have gone through a full roller coaster of on and off relationships and breakups. And then we have people who hooked up one time 2 seasons before. But still, the energy between those people and the entertainment that can come from even that one-time hookup is still great and valuable.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm here for it. I understand that's a cast a show with like, I don't know how many people are on this show. You said 28?
There's going to be 32 once these mystery guests come in from this episode. Like, we don't know who the hell they are already, but yeah.
So 32, what is that? 16 partnerships. That's hard to make sure that every single one of those is truly ride or die. So I'll take a Jordan.
Especially during COVID, where a lot of them got knocked out just because of you know what I mean? Like, people they tried to get on the show couldn't because of certain issues. And, they tried to get Cam and Leroy on, but she was pregnant. And then they, for some reason, have a big thing with Cara right now, because Cara and Polly would be an excellent example. I'm sorry, but they would be. And I would love to see her back on the show just to love to hate her again. I would love that.
You do not need to apologize. They really dropped the ball. I wish so badly they were on this show. I think it would be so incredible to watch them for everything they bring.
Well, we can get into some more of the vignettes here. We see literally Johnny talk to Jordan and say, Hey, man, it would be crazy if Fessy won a daily challenge, because then he'd have to make a decision, and he's not good at making decisions. And then guess who wins the damn challenge? I mean, come on, production. Like, why does that line have to be in there? Because you're giving it away when you said either, oh, if Fessy or Nelly win, they're not good at making decisions, and then they do. And then one more quick conspiracy, because I have to put it in there, is, yeah, you had 2 heats this week during the challenge, right? You had the group 1, which Johnny and Raven won, and then group 2, Fessy and Mariah.
I think it was
Mora.
I think it was reversed. I believe that Fessy and Mariah.
Yeah, I know. But either way, those 2 are your winners, right? Now production has the option to say, well, which one of these 2 winners is going to give us a better storyline going forward this episode, and then they can choose accordingly. I'm not saying that Fessy didn't really win, but I'm saying, like, what if Johnny and Raven really did win? We have no idea, and production therefore has more of they can be like, wow, where do we want the show to go now? I just think that that's a really interesting concept that needs to be explored further as a viewer, and to not just say, don't worry about it, because I think there is something to that people just want to brush aside and say it's not a big deal. But I think it gives production a bigger choice on how to make it more entertaining for us. So do we actually hate that idea, or do we like it? I mean, it's kind of hard to say. Or do we just want to be straight up fair all the time and then just let it happen as it happened? And maybe they did. I have no idea. We have no idea is the point.
Right. No, that's a really interesting point of I mean, we're becoming more aware of how the show is manipulated.
Yeah.
And yes, that's happened in reality TV since the dawn of time, but it's gotten worse and it's gotten more apparent. So that's what we've been feeling for the last few seasons. And in all reality TV, we're feeling production's heaviness in the show, which you don't want to feel as a viewer. You do want to be a passive viewer. You want to sit down and watch it for entertainment. You don't want to think, ooh, there was 2 teams that won. Are they choosing Fessy and Mariah to be the winners because maybe Fessy and Mariah will have a more interesting storyline, or they will shake up the game? But I get what you're saying. Like, maybe we don't want to be mad at that. If the producers are just trying to hook us up with being entertained, then we can't necessarily be mad. But sometimes some of the most interesting thing is just to let, like, humans be. Right? Like, just
organic, right?
And leaving them to their own devices, and then shit kind of blows up. Sometimes you try to do too much, and then you could overproduce, or maybe ruin some of the storylines that would just happen organically. I don't know. We don't know. But I just want to be able to watch it and not necessarily feel like production's influence on it. So, for example, you talk about Johnny and Jordan talking, but before that, Casey goes, so no more Fessy this season, you're gonna be Fessel. And it's like, all right, she was obviously prompted to talk about that.
Like, they're supposedly like best friends off this show. You're saying that this is the first time they've ever chatted about him deciding to go by his original, his God-given name, his parents gave him? Come on, get out of here.
Exactly. I'm thinking the same exact thing.
MTV's just so woke, Jenna. Oh, this just happened naturally. They're so woke.
I mean, I understand that it's something that needs to be talked about. And again, I wonder if it's just you and I, like, getting older and getting wiser to the manipulation of reality TV and the editing. Or I wonder if it's just so blatant and in our face, that it's so clearly like, okay, Casey, go over there and talk to him about it.
But Jenna, you nailed it. That's what they said to her. They said, okay, go have a conversation. All right, so in this scene, like, we need you to talk to Fessy and then bring up his namesake and that he is going by it. Fessel. Not Fessy anymore, it's Fessel. But he doesn't mind people still calling him Fessy, so we can still call him Fessy. It's okay either way. But he wanted to, whatever. It's fine. I think it's great. Look, it's great for him, sure. It's fine. Go by that is your name. It got changed by your buddies growing up. More power to you to go by it. I don't think they're going to spend more time on it this season now. I mean, TJ's now calling him by his namesake. Again, I don't know how TJ feels about that, but he obviously wants to be PC when it comes to, he is the face of the show.
Well, I don't even think it's being overly PC. It's his name, and if maybe.
No, I know, but.
So it's had to be like an Americanized or distilled for growing up or being on football teams, and
but
people.
no one, but he came into the show saying his name was Fessy is my point. No one said, we're not calling you by this. Like, what's your name? He said his name was Fessy. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't get changed by anybody involved in the show or us. It was his buddies or close family and friends growing up that gave him the name Fess, which turned into Fessy. It was like it's a childhood nickname. It's like me going by Dan and not Daniel in a way. Like, it's just a nickname on your original name. It's not saying that we don't want to acknowledge that, like, his where he's from or where his culture is or where his family is originally from. That's, I guess, where I'm coming from on it.
Yeah, and I don't mean to take like a moral high ground, but I don't mind at all.
I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said we can still call him Fessy, so it doesn't matter either way. You know, I mean, he's fine. I'll probably still call him Fessy because that's what I'm used to. And people are still calling him Fessy in the confessionals. But Fessel, if he had a big issue with it, I'll call him Fessel. Sure. Fessel. Great. Done.
Yeah, no, I like that he wants people to call him that, because maybe he's trying to separate from being nicknamed something, because maybe he did feel like he had to like water down his name, or like, you know, growing up in, I don't know where in America he grew up, but in a certain suburb somewhere, maybe he tried to like Americanized or make it like more digestible for American like white people, you know. And he's like, okay, well,
and I'll say this,
I'm older now and I want to be Fessel, I want to go by my Arabic name, and I'm changing that for me, you know.
I have much less issue calling someone by their original name that they were given than calling them by a ridiculous nickname such as Cinco from the Challenge USA, whose real name is Melvin. Okay, Melvin, that's your name. I'm not calling you freaking Cinco. It's ridiculous. I don't know anything. What does this mean? Cinco.
Why are you so mad?
I can't. And then what was that other guy's name on the other show? That was with Bailey, or what was her name? She got pregnant. They're together. What was his name?
That's different.
What's his name? Wheezy or something?
I'm not sure his birth name, but his nickname is Swaggy.
Yes, Swaggy P or something.
Yeah.
Come on. So again, Fessel, more power to you, brother. I'm not calling him Swaggy P. Well, I don't know. Why is he swag? He's not swaggy to me. I don't look around. Man, that guy's swaggy. I'm calling. What's his real name? What's that guy? Chris? His name is Chris.
Self-given nickname. But,
his real name is Chris, Jenna.
But Dan, listen, I'm going to let you be angry. This is your story to tell, right? Yep. This is your voice to have.
Come hate on me in the comments. I love every second of it. Go ahead.
It's just nicknames. Just nicknames.
Yep. Okay. Exactly.
We could just have some fun with it.
Which is why I believe that whole season I was calling him Swaggy G. So I was mixing up. People got very upset with me. People got very upset with me for that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Fessy or Fessel, like either way, like I'm fine with. I don't know.
Well, Fessel means decision maker, and I'm making a decision to jokingly hate on people with ridiculous nicknames such as Cinco and Swaggy P. Let's move on here to Tori and Jordan. They do in the vignettes bring this up.
Wait, before we do, I want to talk about the Tori and Anissa scene, the vignette at the very top of the episode. Just because I really actually liked the way that this was shot, because the two of them are sitting in kind of like almost this nook area on this fabulous blue velvet couch, by the way. I love the couch that they're sitting on, but I like it because it feels more intimate and it feels more real. Whereas when Nerys and Johnny hooked up and they're just in this hallway and you can tell that the camera's like right in their face, I thought it was so invasive and awkward. And I'm just thinking, how are people straight up hooking up in front of this camera, not caring? It would be so hard for me to try to have a clear and honest conversation with somebody with the camera like right the fuck in my face. Yeah. So I really liked that. It almost felt like they had their space and the camera guy was kind of like almost behind a curtain a little bit. I felt like you could see that they were moving around either part of the furniture or a curtain. And I appreciate the conversation. I mean, Tori, again, she says that Jordan broke up with her. And it's never been said by Jordan that that wasn't the case, right? So I'm believing that that is the truth of what happened. And then she's acknowledging and taking responsibility for the fact that she hooked up with Fessy like 2 months after, which was so clearly like a coping mechanism or a rebound. But I like this conversation because this was a storyline I was invested in, right? Like them ending episode 2 with a cliffhanger of Jordan coming back in and seeing Tori's jaw drop and seeing everybody react. I want to know immediately like what's happening between these two. I wish we saw a little bit more of like a shoulder brush in a hallway, or like
they showed they did try to show that. If you remember, he was standing there and she walked by him and he kind of was just looking the other way the whole time. It was very quick.
Yeah, I needed more of those
I
like
need, I
awkward
still want
moments.
more. I really hope that
Yeah.
that hug wasn't the end of either their fighting or they're making up or they're getting closer. But as we know, because of social media, they are, I mean, spoiler alert, sorry guys, but it's all over social media. They're not together right now. So either they've just worked it out as just being friends, but I'd still like to see that friendship grow and maybe see a couple little moments where like, will they, won't they still, obviously.
I know, because when you watch a show, you're not thinking about how real life should be lived. And if two people break up, they probably shouldn't ever get back together. They broke up for a reason. I mean, sure, there's always the exception and the true love stories, right? And that's beautiful. But in real life, especially with what they alluded to as happening in their relationship, like Tori not being right with herself and her kind of struggling with her own issues and she needed to get therapy and seek medicine. That's very heavy for a partner to have to deal with, you know, like dealing with somebody else's problems and burdens. But she almost felt like she was abandoned by her partner. You do think somebody you're going to marry is going to be that one person who's going to help you get through your darkness. So it just seems like what happened, I respect them for breaking up and not getting back together, because now you have to be a mature adult about it. And we're still kind of like in a watching a reality TV, like high school mindset. We're like, no, just get back together, like hook up again. We love you guys together so much. You're so cute. But you have to respect that, like, they realize as mature adults, this isn't working and it's not going to work. We have to break up, and they went their separate ways. So you have to just like let that lie.
Here's my bigger question for you, and I pose this to you. If Tori didn't cheat, because she hooked up with Fessy supposedly 2 months later, and then in the club, she says, I'm sorry for what I put you through, right? But if that happened 2 months later, I'm sorry, that's fair game for Tori, even if she's not in a great emotional mindset and she's hooking up with Fessy for the wrong reasons. If in theory, if they've been broken up for 2 solid months, hell, 2 weeks, whatever it is, she doesn't really owe anything to Jordan. 2 months especially, like that's 2 months where Jordan has not tried to get her back, whatever, if that's the case. So my question I pose to you now is, if Jordan did not cheat on if Tori did not cheat on Jordan, why did Jordan break up with her in the first place? Because he proposed to her for a reason, and that is to spend the rest of your life with someone. You don't just propose to someone willy-nilly, like you haven't thought about this in your head, like, can I see myself with this person? So what happened in the relationship if cheating wasn't involved? And I'm still not 100%, in agreement to that. I still think that something happened. Why would Jordan like fall out of love with her or not want to be with her? What was it? Was she showing this dark side of her, which was very negative and very whatever? What brought him to that point? I just don't get it. And I want to hear from Jordan, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's something that's so private, and I feel like they've done a really good job of keeping their relationship and their woes and their breakup really private. I mean, that is really sensitive stuff, and we'll never know for sure. Like you just said, like we can theorize, was it the fact that her struggles became too much and it was becoming like too heavy on their partnership? Was she maybe still in communication with Jordan when she hooked up with Fessy? Like maybe there was still like hope for him, but we can only theorize. And I don't even want to really do that, because I don't want to make something up and kind of put.
No, I totally understand that concept. It's just they're in our living rooms, right?
Yeah.
Every week. And I feel like they don't owe us anything, but at the same time, they are trying to give us something, but give us a little bit more. Like I'm always you gave me a piece of cake. I want a second piece. I don't know when that's going to end. So in fairness to them, yeah, maybe they're doing the right thing by not giving me more, because I'm just going to ask for more again.
Yeah.
But isn't it something to say that we're so emotionally involved with them? Like, don't we I feel in a way that we deserve more because we've given so much time to their relationship over the years. Like, it's not just about watching a show. We're also watching you as grow in your life, and we want to see where that relationship is going, and we want to see why. Give us a definitive why. You're saying it's because of this, but I feel like there's still something more, but they're not going to come out with it. That is what it is.
I'm sure you've been in a long relationship before where there's been a breakup.
Yes, but I wasn't on national TV doing it, so no one gave a crap.
I'm just saying, think about by the end you get to that breakup, doesn't it feel like there's a million and one things? Or maybe that was just my experience. But I feel like a lot of people can talk about like once it gets to the end, it just feels like there's a fucking laundry list of things that went wrong, you know, and you're trying to
There
pinpoint
is, but if
what
someone
exactly it was. I think that's a universal human experience. It's like, was it that or was it this? Or regardless, it's all 20 of those things that didn't work. You know, all of those things contributed to the fact that
but
like,
I could have, but my point is though, if someone asked me, I could easily list the majority of all the reasons we broke up, not just we broke up and then 2 months later I hooked up with someone else. That's kind of like an aftermath thing. Well, what led to Jordan breaking up with Tori? That's the chunk I feel like we're still missing. We might not ever get it because they think they feel like they've given us enough. Like, no, like supposedly nobody cheated at this point. Like they're not giving like that away. Like the Fessy and Tori thing was 2 months later, supposedly. So
yeah.
but I do think what you said is there's some truth to that, where Jordan and Tori were on a break or just trying to separate for a little bit, and probably Jordan was still trying to get back with Tori. He just needed some time to think some things over, even though they were already engaged. And then she still did what was maybe some would consider a cheat, even though they were broken up. And I put that in quotes because for 2 months. And again, we don't know. Maybe what she's saying is exactly the truth. But why did she say in the club, I'm sorry for what I put you through? If it was 2 months later, Tori, I feel like you don't need to say that. Like you broke, and especially because she broke up with her supposedly. Why does she need to say, I'm so sorry for what I put you through?
2 months. 2 months does feel like a long time, but I do still think it's emotionally damaging to hook up with somebody in your inner circle when you were just engaged to somebody. Like I'm trying to think about, so I just got married. So when me and my husband were engaged, let's say we broke up before the wedding, and what if 2 months later he hooked up with like, I don't know, my friend's friend or something, or like my friend's cousin, like that would still be emotionally damaging. Like that's someone you're going to marry. So I understand if still she's apologetic for kind of like absentmindedly or without intention, without thinking of his hurt or his feelings, going and hooking up with somebody that he's going to have to see all the time. That's going to be embarrassing for him. That's going to suck. Like you were my intended, like we were going to get married and spend the rest of our life together. And now I got to look at the guy like my future wife hooked up with right after we broke up. Like 2 months seems like a long time, but it seems like a long time if you go and you date somebody on a dating app and you go out to dinner and you have like whatever, a hookup, one night stand. It might not feel as long when you're still recovering from a breakup with somebody you were engaged to, and then they hook up with somebody that you know or associate with. Yeah.
Well, let's do this. Let's let the rest of the conversation happen in the comments. Tell us any more information that you might think that you know about the Tori and Jordan situation, their relationship, how they were doing at that moment versus the give us maybe a timeline of what you think may have happened, or if you know something, and we'll let it fester down in the comments.
Yeah, and I also because I feel like not even just the pandemic. The pandemic has made me completely lose perception of time. But because I feel like yesterday was 2020, you know? So we say 2 months, it feels like such a long time on paper on the surface, but it's really not. Like a week goes by like that. Next thing you know, it's the week after that. So 2 months doesn't really feel that long, especially if it's an engagement.
Yeah, that's why I wonder if it was a full like breakup, like I'm never gonna talk to you again, or was it like I just need a couple weeks to be by myself and we can come back around and talk about this again, which is what I think it was more like. And then she still went and hooked up with Fessy, which is why she's apologizing to Jordan the way that she is. But yeah. Okay.
But we also need to talk about Jordan and Johnny. Bananas. Johnny Bananas.
No, I thought you meant Johnny and Raven. Yeah. Yes. Go on. Yeah.
Because Johnny says I never thought I'd say this sort of thing, but it's really good to see you. So what are your thoughts on Bananas and Jordan working together?
If they really are, I think it's more of a, hey, we can't let these rookies take us out. So let's work together until the numbers are on our side. Then we can be, but again, like you said, they see each other all the time at all these like different, probably signings and different media events and all this stuff. So like, they're enemies, but they're not. They're friendly enough. Like I think like the Wes and Bananas is a great example too. You're around someone long enough where you hate them for certain reasons, but then you're like, I hate you, but I like you, man. Like I hate to like you. I like to hate you, whatever it is. And so I don't think they're as big of enemies as they were in the past. Like we've seen Jordan, obviously he put himself in that that very memorable. He flipped them all over. We just saw it in the documentary that he did that. So they've obviously have a huge past, but like I said, it's been a long past. Just like him and Bananas and West was a long past, and you kind of turn into frenemies, like they talked about tonight. So
yeah, you're right. The hatred towards each other, I'm sure, has distilled over the years, but they have no other choice but to work together. And Bananas is getting so he's getting to the point now where every time he comes on this season, he's like the vet of all vets. So there's nobody, he doesn't really have the numbers going into the house. So he's been able to drop any old, rivalries he's had with people to put his game in a better situation. So I understand they have to work together. It's what they need to do to accomplish what they need to in this game and not get eliminated. But man, it sucks to not have them have that storyline anymore, because of Jordan coming into the game as a surprise, not only is like rattling for Tori and gives us that storyline, it's like Jordan and Bananas are supposed to hate each other. And if they still hated each other the way they once did, how electric would that be from a competitive standpoint, from an alliance politics standpoint? So I missed that. Like them working together, I'm like, okay, yeah, I shouldn't be a hater about it. It's cute. You got over your problems and now you can be friends and work together in this game, and it makes sense. But also, I want you guys to go after each other because that was really fun to watch.
Yeah, so but see, the thing with Jordan coming back in is his storyline was mainly focused on, well, what's going to happen between him and Tori, where past seasons, it's been him trying to dethrone Bananas. So the next season he comes in after he lost to Bananas, a clear storyline that the producers can say to Jordan is, hey, don't you want redemption on Bananas? So he comes in hot as a pistol, just yapping about how he wants to take out Bananas this season because he failed to do so the season before. So that's just an easier storyline for us. Like, when's the last time we saw Jordan? We saw him in All-Stars 3. Bananas was not there. And then before that was pre-COVID, or,
it had to be the engagement season. So was that the whole trilogy?
That was the season that he was going against Paulie and Cara, right? But Paulie and him kind of wanted to be buddies, but Cara hated them so much, like Paulie wasn't allowed to be friends with them. Yeah, that was the season that he proposed. Remember, Cara's up there, just shit like this, and Paulie's like,
my God.
Oh, it's such a good moment.
So she was so sour. It was really like ridiculous to watch. It felt like people who hate themselves hate other people sort of moment, it was like, what are you doing? Like everyone,
and that's something that the producers are missing by not having Cara and Paulie. I don't care if Cara is talking smack about production on her social media or talking about stuff being unfair to her on the show. You nip that in the bud, all right? You stop thinking you're high shit producers, and you bring back someone that's going to give you guys better ratings, all right? Stuff it.
But also, right, the toxic work environment is a thing. Not saying Cara made it so, but I'm saying like there does have to be a respect level for production and crew members. And again, we don't know what the hell happened, so this is all speculation, which is irresponsible and not good. But if you're right, like I don't want to be a gossip.
But it's not our fault, Jen. If they gave us the truth, we could talk about the truth. They give us no choice but to gossip, so we have to realize that too.
Okay, I like that. Thank you. I needed that support to fuel my gossip. But my point is, regardless, whatever she could have done to production, allegedly or potentially, they still deserve respect. They're showing up to work every day. Do they want to be around an asshole just because they're going to bring in better ratings, right? It comes down to ethics too. But again, we don't know what she did, so I don't know.
How bad could it have been? Like, give me a break.
But like Camilla punching a production assistant, like, yeah, girl, you're not.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, I don't think Cara put hands on anybody. You think Cara beat somebody up? Like, I mean, yeah, I don't see Cara beating up production.
No. That's why I'm saying that.
I know what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's build back up this podcast after show here by talking about the daily challenge, which was called Build Me Up. And yeah, they had to move. I know. They had to move heavy ass barrels. They had to hit a thing, move them again, hit a thing, move again, hit a thing, then drag all 6 barrels all the way to the finish line. I enjoyed it. It was fine. It wasn't like anything like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're going to get into that with the elimination, I feel like, more. But
Well,
Yeah, it
it's
was
funny
fine.
that you say heavy ass barrels because you're right. They probably were, right? I
Well,
don't
they
doubt.
had two people on them. They tried to show someone dragging it by themselves, but again, it looked pretty heavy if one guy couldn't take it by himself. He couldn't
No,
like
I'm
lift it with two hands and he had to just drag
pumping
it.
pump, just DK it.
He could DK. Oh, he could have DK'd it. Like, well, I think that ground did not give great rolling ability to
It wasn't
snowball
animated.
that thing.
It wasn't a fake animated world, unfortunately. But it's funny that you say that they were heavy ass barrels because that's probably true. But I was thinking this challenge looked way too easy for people who wake up and do CrossFit every day. I was like, doesn't this seem kind of easy? Like they're just running back and forth 30 yards, maybe, with the barrel that they're sharing. Doesn't seem that hard. Yeah, they got to do it a bunch of times. But if these people are as in shape as they always say they are, right? They're physical trainers. They run marathons. They compete. They do boxing. They do all this shit, except for the few people who maybe work regular 9 to 5 office jobs and can only work out 4 days a week. I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys are doing like 2 a days and stuff. So you're weightlifting, you're training your cardio, you're doing competitions. This looks like a pretty easy challenge to me.
Okay, well, that's interesting you say that because I look at it as you needed your partner for this challenge. And if you look at the two teams that won, obviously Fessie's a beast. And I really do think that his Mariah, is it Mariah?
Mariah.
Mariah?
Yes.
Mariah looks like she's, like you said, she does CrossFit. She's also does some strength conditioning, which I think is very important for something like this, where you have like a Nelson who's pretty in shape, but he's with Nerys, who literally is, she's got sticks for arms. So sorry, she's not gonna. And nothing against her.
Right.
I find her very attractive, good, but she's not the strongest girl that's out there. And then you have Johnny and Raven. Johnny, I see him at my gym all the time. He's jacked up, and his girl.
There's their plug.
There's our plug for the LA Fitness on La Cienega, and we can't make this plug many more times now that he's gone. And Greater Los Angeles. And then you have Raven, who also looks like she keeps herself in peak shape. She also's got the legs on her. And I think the legs are very important in a challenge like this because you're running on a surface that has some give to it. So you have to keep digging down into this sandy ass surface. And she's got the bigger, as we called them back in the 90s, I'm not sure you're allowed to call them anymore, thunder thighs. I don't know if you're allowed to call them anymore, but you're not allowed to call it that? Okay, whatever. I called it that, so go ahead, hate on me in the comments. And now I thought, but I'm giving her 100% props here, though. So I thought that she was able to perform with him very well, and that's why those were the winning teams. Because you have a Johnny Bananas who is getting older now, and you have a Nani who's not that strong, so they're not going to be able to do it. You got Devin and Tori, who Devin's not the strongest guy, where Tori is stronger, so that made them slow down. You can make a case for each. Laurel, who's a stronger female, stuck with Jack, who's a less strong male. Tommy and Annalise, let's not even get into them. I mean, they're like, Annalise, whatever, get them out of here. They're not going to. So, I mean.
Wait, Tommy and Annalise did so good. They were very close. They were right.
What show are you watching?
Fessy and Mariah. They were very close to Fessy.
They were?
Yeah. I mean, that's what the editing.
I'm pretty sure like Tommy's the smallest man to ever appear on the challenge.
But that
I'm throwing that out there too.
Weak. That doesn't mean he's weak. Also, he has muscles, so he's short, but he's not small. Like he definitely has meat on him, and he's muscular. And
all right, let me throw this at you then. Who is that? Who is that super short guy with the long hair, Jenna? Super short guy with the long hair. Greg? No, not Greg.
You talking about Kahana?
No. He's really jacked up. This little guy. He was on last season or something. He had the long hair. He put it back. He was really Ed. Bam! I knew it. Ed was very short and he was jacked up. Put him next to Tommy. I don't think you're gonna be saying that he's got muscles on him. That's my point.
I think Tommy has muscles. I'll die on that hill, but
please comment in the comment section if Tommy has muscles. My God, what's happening here?
Sure done. Maybe I'll be thrust off of the hill.
You could. Hey, you never know where the comments are going to go, Jenna. So
what's up?
You never know what the comments are, what side they're going to take. They can be very much on your side.
Well, I'm just speaking my honest opinion anyway. So on my side or not.
There we go.
But so to your point though about Bananas and Nani not performing well, and Laurel and Jack and all these teams not doing well, and your perspective being that it's obviously must be hard. I agree. It probably is harder than it looks, as all of these challenges are, as I sit on my couch eating every time I'm slamming food in my face as I watch. So who the hell am I to say? But at the same time, like Bananas is still, look at him. He's still in great shape. I mean, I think he's somebody who does two-a-days, right? And Laurel, she talks a big game, and she's fit as hell. She works out still.
She's working out. I mean, they show her working out constantly. Yeah.
I'm still very shocked that the rookies and maybe 1 to 2 seasoners outperformed some of these vets. Like, I thought in all the challenge world, this was a challenge that would have been very doable and very easy for these vets to smash. Like, bananas.
Right. And again, you saying that it's easy, I think I would have destroyed this challenge. I could run for I'll drag stuff forever, whatever. I don't care. I would have just kept going.
The same gym as Johnny.
Johnny and we look at each other from across the gym. We're like, yeah, we're doing it right. We know what gym we're at.
You're like, you training for the barrel challenge? Hell yeah, brother.
Not doing biceps. He's got the 10% of your arm. He's always doing his biceps all day at the gym.
Oh, sorry, you gotta go down.
My barrel challenge.
Then up, right? Then slowly down, then up.
You want to do both sides. You don't just want to drop it back down, because you want to have the and then all the way back down, because you don't want the gap right here. There can be a gap right here if you do little short ones like this. You have a little gap here. Girls don't like the gap.
Honestly, I like doing these because I feel the burn that way. Is that this is a real thing, right? This is
I guess it's a chest workout in theory.
And then you go to this. Yes, and then you go to this. Like, you do it all.
There's some shoulders. I see the shoulders happening there.
And then all burns.
Want to burn.
So anyway, the rookies did wonderful. I think Tommy and Elise performed pretty well.
Okay.
And obviously, Horatio and Olivia killed the game. That's the other thing. They were the other really, really strong partnership. Fessy and Mariah just murdered everybody else in their heats, though. Like, yes, I was just saying Tommy and Elise, they were, I think, kind of right behind them, and so were Horatio and Olivia. But then when it came down to the ending, they just destroyed everybody. And their endurance, the fact that they could last as long as they could, was their strength. So shout out to them, well deserved. They destroyed everybody. Johnny and Raven were close, and I almost wish they won, given what ended up happening in the game.
Like I said before, Jenna, maybe they did win, but we'll never know.
No. I know, sad. Because I was just thinking, this is episode 3, and this is 2 out of 3 challenges that they've either won.
I know, they're a dominant team.
Yeah.
But did Devin say, who said it at the end? Was it Devin that said it all comes down to, can you work with your partner? Is there that communication? Is there that love and support of each other? And yes, they weren't interacting directly with each other in that elimination, but it's like the Johnny's cheering her on, and all maybe she's thinking in her head is he really cheering me on, or is he just trying to get back to hook up with Nerys some more? There is a part to the challenge that is, how well are you getting along with your partner? We've seen it happen a million times, and it will continue to happen. I really think there's that bonding thing. And the worst thing that the challengers are doing right now is they keep getting Horatio and Olivia working well. Yeah, where Olivia kind of is doubting herself, but the more that she keeps winning, the less she's going to doubt herself, and the stronger she's going to become. So obviously, how are you not rooting for this team? They're the underdogs as far as I'm concerned. I love rooting for an underdog, even though they're very strong. They're still a rookie team that's having to prove themselves every week, versus a Johnny and Nany. We can say, yeah, they're just as strong as them, but yeah, Johnny and Nany aren't having to go into elimination every week and prove themselves either. So there's that.
No, it's interesting with Johnny and Raven too, because I think all we could find about their past was that they were partnered together because they are represented by the same.
I know. I love it. I love it.
So it's kind of I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what to believe. They're talking about there being a love interest, and obviously you see it's really bothering Raven this episode. So you have to believe that there's truth to it. But it also feels like, how well do you guys even really know each other?
And you nailed it, Jenna.
Maybe that's more of the problem than this love triangle. Maybe the problem is you guys don't even really know each other. And I think she was kind of alluding to that in her confessional. She was like, I need you to work out with me. I need you to bond with me and hang out so that we perform well. And it's yeah, because you guys don't know each other.
Yeah, well, Jenna, here's the issue is, like they said, they met in Vegas. They probably hooked up for that weekend. They kept each other going in some text messages for a little bit. Every once in a while, they'd hook up randomly when she was visiting LA, or maybe she lives in LA. Who the hell knows? But it was nothing more than a hookup. They realized that they were represented by the same agency. Johnny said to his agent, hey, I want to get on. I want to get another show. And I have a ride or die that's also with them. Like with you guys should try to get us on this show together. Like then we'll make more money for you. Like, I mean, these people aren't dumb. They know that this is another paycheck for them. I don't know what Johnny does for work, but I know that he lives in LA. I know that he goes to my gym. All right. I know that he is trying to become a reality star because he's already been on another reality show where he did a big old hookup thing with that other girl from the Challenge USA that we talked about. He's not trying to have a real job. Like, let's be real.
Who is? I don't want a real
I
job.
agree. I know. I'm with you. I just couldn't make it. I tried to act for 10 years out here. I tried to not have a real job too, but it didn't work out that way.
Dumb, by the way. You guys probably saw me crush this water.
You crushed the whole thing.
Last week it was throwing. Last week it was doing.
I got 3/4 left here. I'm good.
Well, drink up, brother.
But then I have to, here's the problem with that. And let's talk about this. I have a very small bladder. If I drink that whole thing too quickly, I got to pee every 15 minutes for like 3 hours. It sucks. Right. So I try not to.
Right.
That's me.
Okay.
Some people don't pee all day. I'm like, why you want to pee all day?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. But that's a real thing. I comment in the comment section. Some people don't pee all day. Other people, I'm like, every 2 to 3 hours, I'm like, I have to pee. Like, it is what it is.
Wait, actually, can I put something out there to the commenters? Because I ask a lot of people this, and I thought I was not alone in doing this. I thought this was what a lot of people did. I will not make myself, but if I don't really have to pee, I'll go make myself pee all the time because I want to see my hydration level. Like, I want to see what color, how, they say white to orange, right? Orange, you're dehydrated.
Yeah, but that right there proves that you drink a lot of water. If you're trying, I assume it's mostly clear then. If that's the
clear, but I just need to know. I need to know what my hydration level is. And every time I talk to about somebody, I'm like, like when you go to the bathroom just to make sure how hydrated you are. I never get someone be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I get crickets every time.
Yeah, I don't go to test how hydrated I am. I just always have to go. So I'm like always there. I don't need to worry. I'm like, I'm going to have to test my hydration in 2 hours anyways. I don't need to test it in 1 hour. I'll just wait the 2 hours.
Well, you know what? Maybe now I'm going to motivate somebody to do that and have the same compulsion as me. So I'm less alone in this world. But commenters, please, if just one person says that they also go to the bathroom just to make sure that they're hydrated, please let me know, because I've been alone in this for a long time.
Hashtag urination hydration if you're still listening.
Yes. And if you're still listening, we'll go back to the challenge now. So we do see one of the funniest parts of this, and my husband and I went back and forth on this while we're watching. I love to bring in my people when we watch together. Annalise and Tommy get back into the house. Fessy and Mariah, as the winners, get back into the house, and they put the names of the people who they're throwing into the pit, whatever the hell it is this year.
The zone.
The zone that they're throwing into the zone. And what is
bone zone?
The bone zone. So
I was saying the bone zone. I was making it sexual, Jenna.
Are named. So during the club night, they go around and they make promises to every other team that's named, except for Johnny and Raven. And I'm like, are they really just going to go make a promise to everybody? Like, this is going to bite them in the ass. And my husband's like, I would make it a secret alliance with anybody. I would make a secret alliance with everyone. I'm like, yeah, but then you become Wes and everybody knows who you are and what you're doing.
It used to bite you in the ass more. It doesn't bite you in the ass as much anymore because there's so many more competitors than there were back in the day. Remember, back in the day, it was only 24 people in that house. Now they've upped it to 32. So like I've always said, there's more storylines to cover. There's more people to get in the way. Like, obviously, they're already rookies. They really don't have a lot to lose here. And I will say this. You said how well they did today in the challenge. They talked in the room about how much they suck. And they also admitted that they got last place today, whatever last place means. Tommy and Annalise said in that room that they got last place.
Oh,
they said it.
That I was.
I'm just saying that's what they said to each other. I don't know how much of a last place they could get because it not like anything was timed here, but they did admit that they got last place and that they suck. And then Johnny came in and tried to hype them back up, saying if there was a Instagram posting challenge or elimination, you guys will win. So don't even worry about it.
My perception of that was, I think Johnny's trying to flirt with Annalise here.
Oh, sure. He's very single, I believe. So, yeah, why not?
Flirting. So, yeah, I don't know what show I was watching that because I thought they were killing it today. Must have been Tommy's Splits because I love a dancer, and oh my gosh, he was stretching with those splits, and I was like, so I was blinded by the splits. Who could blame me? But they screwed themselves. And I do think it bites them in the ass, because right down in the elimination, once it's exposed, and ironically, of course, it comes down to the two teams that they made a promise to. So naturally, they're safe. Again, it's like, how did production pull this off? So
I'm telling you, that person and I said that there's someone down there just ready to take. They know. Okay. Oh, Jay, production, just so you know, we're gonna call on Tommy and Annalise second. So after that first dagger goes out, right, we're going to let you know where they're about to go to. Slap a sticker on there. Boom, they're safe. And they're forced to make that decision after we've already built this storyline that they're making alliances with everything the night before. They have a whole night to prep what's going to happen on that next night with who's going to get that. Who do we want to get the safe dagger? They sit in a circle, this production people. Who do we want? Who's going to give us the best drama? Well, obviously, Tommy and Annalise made deals with everybody. So let's somehow try to finagle them getting the dagger. Even if they put the safe on both daggers, right? Now that the safe one is pulled, that other one does not need to be pulled. So even if it says safe on it, it doesn't matter. We'll never know. They did not have them pull the third dagger, mind you. Think about that.
It's probably true. Now I'm becoming more and more into this conspiracy theory, because it had to happen that way. They made alliances and promises to two teams.
And let's do it this way, Jenna, too, not to interrupt you. But until one of these things doesn't pan out the way the most drama will pan out, I think we have to assume this conspiracy exists. Until it randomly happens, we're like, oh, that shows that was less drama now. Right. And then we can nix this, but it's been 3 episodes and the highest drama has happened each time. I'll let you continue.
Long story short, I like to think I won this argument with my husband, because I was like, you watch, it's going to come back to bite them in the ass. You just sit there and watch, mister. I'm going to make a secret alliance with everybody in the house. I'm like, how long is that going to last? Everyone's going to talk and realize not only did everybody have to talk about it behind closed doors, it was announced in the zone. It took, everybody was exposed to how they are planning on playing the game. And everyone was like, oh, that's Big Brother. So now no one has any trust in them. Their brand is tarnished. Their reputation is completely ruined in the house, and no one's going to want to work with them.
Let me jump on your husband's side for the argument. Has it bit them in the ass yet, though? Because they didn't have to perform, obviously, but that was just by their own hijinks. But at the same time, maybe by forcing all the hands of production to make them the safe person, they just guaranteed themselves another week of being safe. Now, I understand that now the rookies don't like them and the vets don't like them, but let's also be honest here. I'm sorry. I know you think they're this like stronger team, but they were winning anyways. Splits. They were not winning the challenge anyway. So at this point, if you know you're a weak ass team, do whatever you got to do. And I'm sorry, if they get put back into that foursome of people that have to go in, they're going to say, I'm sorry, Bananas and Nani, whoever wins the next challenge. Do you really think that we're a threat to you? Please carry us through this entire game, because we are no threat to you in the finals. We are going to suck. They've admitted to Johnny. Johnny already heard how much they sucked. They were in a room all huddled up saying, we suck. And Johnny had to come and comfort them. They're no threat. I would keep them around as long as I could if I was another team. I think they made a good decision here.
Okay, good point. Solid point.
You're welcome, Jenna's husband. I just helped him out there.
No, I'll never tell him. So, because you're being real with it, by saying they probably aren't going to win anyway. But my counterpoint is, but you have to believe that you can. Why go on this show?
No, I'm all about positive energy when you're on a show like that. Yeah.
Why go on a show for $1 million knowing it's a competition show? You've already played Big Brother. I don't really know Annalise's athletic background, but Tommy is an athlete. He's a dancer and has great cardio. So why go on a show? Like, you have to think that you're going to win. You have to believe in yourself to win. So playing we're the worst team, we're so bad, we're not a threat to you, is smart. That can get you to the final. Absolutely.
Agreed. Going into Double Decker tonight, if Tommy goes in there, does he beat any of those teams?
No.
Thank you. That's all I'm trying to say. He's shorter.
We don't know yet.
Think about how Johnny stayed in that game. I'm not saying he's super tall, but he's tall
Olivia
enough.
Is destroying Annalise. Sorry, she's destroying her.
Yes.
No, really, because Annalise is like,
Did
I
you
don't
notice how
think
Johnny
that
stayed in the game though?
how Johnny stayed.
How Johnny was able to win that one time, and he tried it each time. He jammed his feet against each side of the thing, but luckily he was tall enough to still be able to reach the bar. If Tommy does the splits, he's going right down below the bar and it's going right over.
Oh my God, you're being so mean about his height. How about this? How
I'll look
about
up his height for you. How tall do you think he is, first off?
I don't know.
I'm going with 5'5", and I'm being nice.
Okay. 5'6".
I knew you were going to go one higher. I just had a feeling.
He's gonna
What's
be
he
five.
from? Big Brother?
He's from Big Brother.
All right,
While
I'll
you do
type in
that,
Tommy Big Brother.
I'm gonna keep,
Tommy Braccio. He's
oh.
he's 5'4". I nailed it. 5'4".
Oh, no, you didn't. You didn't nail it. You were one too high.
Oh, I said 5'5".
You
Oh,
said 5'5".
I was still closer.
So yeah.
5'4" is so small. Like for a dude, like for a girl, like I like girls 5'4", 5'4" and shorter. Like I get it, whatever. 5'4" for a dude is teeny. Even my cousins, who they're like more Italian than me, but they're very small, like these like little petite Italian dudes, like this, and
Oh, I love it.
they're
Oh,
still like
yeah.
5'6", 5'7", though. You know what I mean? Like this dude's 5'4".
And you can't help how tall you can't
No,
help.
and that was one of the things I'm blessed at. Like I could have my receding hairline, whatever. I'm still a solid 6 feet, maybe even 6.5 feet. So like I don't have to worry
Wow,
about height.
guys. He's 6 feet and he works out, everyone.
And Jenna, let me keep bragging about this, or not bragging so much. When I go to events, I work events like every night doing photography. Every dude there is like 6'2", 6'4". Like I feel small. So I can only imagine what these other guys feel. Like I do still think that I'm not that tall at 6 feet. I look at like, God, these guys are all taller. What the hell's going on? So yeah.
So what do you think about the teams that Fessy decided to put into the zone? So it's Colleen and Kim, Horatio and Olivia, Johnny and Raven, and Tommy and Annalise.
I think he played it uber safe, but like we said, Fessy, like he said, plays that game where he doesn't like to ruffle a lot of feathers. He played his exact game. So I don't know whether to love it or hate it. I'm like, okay, man, you made maybe the best decision you can make, because you're not his problem is he's not working with the vets and he's not working with the rookies. He's working with Nelson. Like, who else does he have? He doesn't have anybody else in this game. I guess he does have Casey too. He has Casey too. He has Casey and Kenny. He's got two other teams. So he's not working with the vet alliance, which is going to be the Devin, apparently crazy enough, the Devin, the Bananas, and the Jordan. Like, is that what the vet is? And maybe the Darrell once he comes in.
And Laurel,
spoiler alert.
right? Laurel is there. And yeah, so I was thinking about other options he could have put in, because you're right. It doesn't feel like he's totally aligned with the top tier vets.
He's not.
But he also he's just really aligned with Nelson and
definitely Casey though. Definitely Casey.
But I think that's why he's not throwing in Bananas and Nani, because Nani is with Casey, so he can't do that to Casey.
100%.
But why not Devin and Tori? And again, I don't want them to go in. But I think
he didn't want to ruffle feathers. He was worried that if they come back and win, if they win the next one, he's definitely going down there. And didn't they already win a daily this year?
They won an elimination. They have not won a daily. But
who won? Episode 1 was Johnny and Raven. Then tonight was, oh wow. So wait, who won episode 2? Oh, it was Horatio and Olivia, right?
Yeah, so that's why I bring this up, because in the interrogation, he turns to Mariah and says, we just want to be careful because we don't want to throw a team down there that gets pissed off and comes back, and then we're on their radar. But Johnny and Raven, at that point, had already won and almost won a second challenge. Olivia and Horatio have been kicking ass and won an elimination. So you did put two teams down there that could come back and get pissed off. And
he didn't. But they're rookies. So that was his example for that. Yeah. Like, okay, yes, I'm going to have to piss people off, but at least I'm not going to piss off the vets that could come back. I'll piss off the rookies that could come back. I guess that was his like reasoning for that. But either way, it's like, you're like, oh, I don't want to piss off anybody that could win dailies. Well, you just pissed off the people that won daily season episode 1 and episode 2. You were going to piss off both of them. But he got lucky that one of them guaranteed had to go home with how it all worked out.
And they
Yeah.
didn't say this, and I guess it's good that they didn't say this because it would have come off pretty cocky. But I do find Fessy and Mariah to be an athletically advanced team, and I don't think anybody's going to throw them in for quite a while just because of how tall and big Fessy is. Like, if they got a challenge like the one tonight, that was basically a double hall brawl, an elimination rather, people don't want to see Fessy in something like that, you know? So I
No,
think people are going to hold off on putting him in for a while. He's very fortunate about his size and his stature and, you know, his muscular physique that I don't think people are going to be jumping to put
it
him
would
down.
have been over so quick if Fessy was down there tonight. It would have been just getting destroyed.
Yes and no, though, because there's two tiers to it. So it does come down.
Oh, well, I just meant his part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But it does come down to the top layer of the hall brawl. Like you get a little bit of a head start and it is a big advantage, but at the same time, like the people on the second floor have to be the winners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you don't necessarily win the bottom floor, that doesn't mean you lost the whole
Johnny
elimination.
proved that tonight in the second
Yeah.
round. They lost the bottom portion, and then he came back. I think that gave all his effort too. Like he was done after that. He's like, I can't do this
Yeah.
again. Um,
This elimination, it was awesome. So I loved
see,
it.
and let's get into that. But I want to say this: interrogation, boring. Like again, see how we wanted to skip right over it? Like you naturally did it. Like, and I wanted to too. I don't even want to mention how boring it was. I would skip, and if in future references, future episodes, we might have to just skip over it and move on to the good stuff. But is there anything that? What a waste of like 15 minutes, maybe only 10, but still, like they don't need this crap. Nothing happened.
I had something that I wrote down. Oh, I wrote down that Johnny and Raven are trying to make a deal with Fessy, and he's just not doing it. Like he won't
He sat
say.
there like this.
I know, but Johnny's like, no. But what I'm saying, bro, is like we've already won and almost won today. We're a pretty good team. Like if you want to just not throw us in, like we got your back. And Fessy won't take the bait. I don't know why.
You wanted him to take the bait.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty good offer for a strong
No
team.
guarantees though either that they live up to that offer.
That's true. That's true. People lie. People lie.
People lie straight through the teeth. And if Fessy really said, this is who I want to get rid of, then that's who he wanted to get rid of. They were the strongest.
Fair enough.
I thought they were very strong overall. I think Raven's stronger than Olivia, and I think that you can go either way with Johnny and Horatio. So I think that they got rid of the stronger team overall. I know Raven. Well, let's get into it. What the F with her shoes? Like that was very weak ass of her. Tie them better. What are you doing? I even went online to try to figure out. I wrote in like, why did Raven's shoes keep falling off? Like, how do you not tie your shoes better than that? They all have the same equipment. They were given the exact same shoes, the exact same attire, helmets, gloves, everything. So why were her shoes coming off? Did she get too big of shoes? Like, what is she doing?
Honestly, maybe they were too big or they weren't tied correctly or tight enough. But I really like how you broke up weak ass into weak ass. You made it a nice 2 words right there. Raven, oh my gosh. Both teams were so great. It sucks to see any of them go. And I think they both worked really hard. However, in the elimination, I do think in that first round, I feel like something mentally like wasn't there with Raven and Johnny. And I felt like a sense of almost like giving up a little bit in that first round because that you kind of, as long as you can like hold your own. I think it was Bananas that even said it. He's like, it just comes down to like whoever either gives up or weakens first. And maybe Johnny was just trying to get his footing. It's a really awkward situation to be in where you're pushing against somebody, but if you're already kind of being pushed back, but you got to plunge forward. It's like all about getting your footing and using your body strength. And Horatio is really observant and he's really mentally strong too, where he's realizing, he's kind of like a boxer watching, every time Johnny wants to plunge forward, he actually takes a step back first. So the second he pivots back, I'm just going to steamroll.
Yeah.
But I felt a little bit like Johnny is so strong that I felt as though he lost too quickly in that first part of the elimination. And I think like psychologically that maybe got into Raven's head a little bit too. And she kind of did poorly in that first round. But her shoes, that was a deficit. And I don't know what the hell was going on there, but she needed to like tie them tighter or
Yeah,
something.
just tie them tight. What else do you tell her? Tie them tighter. I don't care if you can't have any circulation. What are you doing? You're getting thrown out of your shoes. I think that having good leg strength was big for this one because you just had to settle into that position and kind of almost wear out your opponent at first, especially when they had full energy and they weren't tired yet. So I think that definitely came into play for Horatio, who plays soccer, where you just need to have your legs underneath you to play that type of sport. You're running constantly. You can't have your legs give out. You can't be built like an upside down triangle. You need to have that good lower body strength for a challenger, an elimination like this, which, I think Raven does, but I also think that Olivia's built. She's pretty stacked when it comes to being down below. So I think that was kind of a wash up there. And then plus Raven lost her shoes. So you're giving the edge to Olivia there, and then down below I was giving it was basically a dead heat, but I'm giving the edge to Horatio for being a little bit smarter about it and having that leg strength when it comes to playing soccer all those years. So there you go. There's the winners.
Yeah. Raven and Johnny are a very strong team, but in this elimination as a whole, so that's looking at all 3 rounds, Horatio and Olivia just killed it. Like they really, all said and done, were the stronger team there.
And they had that bond. They had that emotional bond where they were 100% on each other's team. There was nothing distracting them. There was nothing getting in the way of their ability to win this elimination for sure.
Yeah, they're an awesome team, and I hope they make it really far. Just
because me too.
They're
going to be that we're all hoping, I think, as viewers, that they can be the next rookie sensation, even though coming in we had no idea what other reality show either of them were from coming in. So we thought that was.
I hope 0 reality TV shows.
Yeah, but I think she did something, and then he was a professional soccer player, and I think he also was on something possibly.
Yeah. Because sometimes she gives those like liners that, the producer like wants to hear, I feel like she's good at like giving sound bites. So she probably was on a reality TV show before, but I really like them and I'm rooting for them. But really good elimination. And that's what you get when you have strong teams across the board. So I'm thinking now who would just be like disappointing to see go into an elimination, but it depends because eliminations can be different.
You don't know what it's going to be.
I don't know what strengths it's going to play into. Yeah. So hopefully like everybody's well-rounded enough that it can always be that interesting and exciting.
If it's a dance contest, Tommy's got it. He's in. That dude is. They show him every night at the club dancing.
I love
circle around him. He's dancing away. He's doing his thing.
I want to party with him.
I mean, you can barely see him in the circle because everyone's taller. You have to kind of look up and there he is down there.
Yes. But excited for this season to keep moving.
Yeah. Again, this is the 3rd episode. I did not look at my phone. So that's a good note. It was on the coffee table. I saw some messages come in or some emails, but I said, okay, I can wait till after. Like I didn't, so I didn't budge from that. I also love fast forwarding the commercials. I always watch the next morning. Unless we're trying to do it that night, obviously I watch it live, but fast forwarding those things, it's even more exciting because you're just like, you're still hyped from the, yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on this? I hope we get a lot of comments in the comments section about everything we talked about, every individual topic. Please comment on each one. We try to break it up.
2 final thoughts. You took the words out of my mouth. I'm very much looking forward to the comments because everyone's enjoying the season. And I feel like I'm learning things from other people and it's fun to see other people's opinions and perspectives. So shout out to you guys for commenting. It's really fun to kind of like play with you in that way. Second thing is I'm going to go check how hydrated I am. And I want to know if people do the same thing. So
again, #urination hydration if you're still watching. And we will see you next week for episode 4. I don't know the title yet, but I will let you know at the beginning of the next week's after show episode. For Jenna, I'm Dan. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.